Hi, Chris. I don't think I can hear you.
Hey, Daniel, how are you?
Actually, this is Grant.
Oh, great. Apologize. Nice to finally meet you in person there.
Yeah, you too. Yeah,
Thank
Daniel will
you.
be on in just a sec. I like all the baseball paraphernalia you have behind you.
Oh, back in the back here, yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of. Is that all like vintage type art?
Yes and no. That's Paying Profit. He's an artist now. He's in England. He's become a buddy of mine, and that is Tim Godden, and that's Gummy Arts. If you follow Gummy Arts, that's some of his stuff there. And then there's my Gypsy Oak, things like that. Daniel, hello, how are you?
Chris, nice to meet you. Can you hear
Very
me?
nice to meet you as well.
Can you guys hear me okay?
We were talking about my background here. So
You're in South Carolina, right?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, okay.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey Grant, how are you?
Good.
It's good.
I saw that it was a black wall next to you, and I'm like, it's not night where he is.
Yeah, I'm in like the media room, whatever, in my um apartment building.
Okay.
And yeah, like they painted like half the wall just black.
How are things going in New Jersey?
A lot of work, man. Grad school is a lot different.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, but it's nice. I like it here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Looks like Mason's coming on.
So Chris, Thomas and Mason are both former students of mine. I think the majority of the town ball, at least the beginnings of it, was former students of mine or students of mine. So
Awesome. Nice to meet you, Thomas.
Nice to meet you too.
Thomas, you graduated from high school what year?
2017.
2017, yeah.
Yeah.
Mason was 2015. I think he's the same year as, he's a year younger than Brad.
I don't remember.
Hello,
Wait, 2014.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey,
Yeah.
Mason.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to get my camera set up real quick, but I was a year below Brad.
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right. I haven't seen Mason in years.
Yeah.
At last game in Fresno.
Chris Radcliffe is our artist, so he's made. I'll have to have Chris share what he made. Hey, Mason.
Hey,
So Grant, do we have other motherboard members coming? Do you know?
No one has told me, so I hope there will be more.
Yeah, I know Tristan said he couldn't on the motherboard chat.
That's right. He said he couldn't. Yeah. So hopefully Roshan. Yeah. Maybe Jimmy. I don't
Oh,
know.
Chuck will be here. I'm not sure why he's not on yet. Oh, maybe he needs a link. He probably needs a link.
You put it in the chat. Oh no,
Yeah.
he's here.
Yeah.
He's logging on right now.
So Chris, Chuck is my son. He's my 18-year-old son. He will be 18.
He's 18. Oh,
Will be.
dang.
Hello.
Yep. He's a senior in high school.
Wow.
They do grow up fast. I have 11-year-olds.
Do we get to see your face today, Chuck?
I don't have a camera.
Camera's
I
not
don't
working?
have a camera, so no.
Oh, you don't have a camera. Okay. Chuck is
Well,
also
we know
straight.
what Chuck's getting for Christmas this year.
Are you rooting for the Braves for the World Series, Chris?
I was.
Yeah,
Are they
Braves
out
are
now? Okay.
They're very out.
Philadelphia right now is so hot. I don't think anybody can stop them, and
Yeah,
they're walking through everybody.
yeah. I haven't been keeping up on the elimination. I just know that recently they were involved. Yeah, no, the Phillies murdered them in a game like a week ago Friday.
Mhm.
Like 7 runs ahead or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
So
like
he
it's gonna
feel-
be Astros Phillies.
I think so
I
as well.
really don't. I don't want to see the Astros make it.
Who are the Astros playing right now?
Yankees, but
Yankees,
they're
okay.
up 3-0.
So Phillies already
Wow,
won,
okay.
I
No,
think
they're in
winning
their
right now.
fourth game now.
so they're 3-0,
3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
Sorry, they're in their fifth game.
Okay.
I'm gonna check the score.
And
Oh, Phil or San Diego's winning. Bottom of the 7th, 3-2.
right,
Yeah,
the
I'm not-
Padres.
I'm not very
Yeah.
excited about the World Series either, but the games have been pretty good.
Yeah.
I would have loved
Tommy?
to see the Dodger Yankee World Series. I think that would have been great for baseball.
Tom, are you going for the Yankees this year?
I actually went to a Yankees game, but I honestly don't care. I don't like the teams this year.
Well, I don't like baseball anymore, so
What happened to the Twins? I thought you were.
I'm
an
a
avid
Twins fan, but I
Don't
just
keep up.
it's hard to get back into baseball once you play Townball, as you guys know.
That's true.
For me, anyway, it's true. For sure.
I can't go back to a slower game.
Slow.
Well, there's no televised town ball, so
Not yet.
right. Yeah.
Just those Instagram ones we do.
I'm a big
So,
fan
Grant,
of
should we get
those.
started? What do you think? You guys wanna
Yep.
start now?
Yeah, we might as well. Yeah,
Where's
so
the link to this meeting?
What's that?
Where's the link to this meeting?
Jones, you put it in the motherboard chat, right?
What do we have? Did we send it out to anybody else? I mean, I guess Chris is here, but
We
I didn't
sent
get an
it
email for
to we sent that link to over 400 people.
Huh.
Yeah.
well,
It's okay.
I
It's
I
okay.
wasn't
Let's
one of
mute
those
what we have.
400, but that's
This is good for us to meet anyway, because
Yeah.
I mean, 4 of us are motherboard members. Sorry, 5 of us here are motherboard members, and so
That might be the most motherboard participation we've had on one of these calls in a while.
yeah, yeah. Seriously, this is great.
Yeah. Well, so for those who don't know, I mean, Mason, this is your first time on this call, and Chris, you're same as you. We do these relatively once a quarter just to catch everyone up on activities going on with the game, because now the game is not only happening in Oregon and California, it's also happening in Michigan, and our longtime players like Tommy are more spread out now, and so it's just good to keep everybody in the loop on what's going on, because Jones and myself run the sport as a business, with all of the focus on our products like the ball, the physical strike zone, jerseys. We made jerseys this year. That's a new thing, and we'll talk about that later, but it's just a way to let everyone know what's been going on, so people don't think that they don't scratch their heads wondering, well, I played the game, or I went to a couple games and it was fun, but what's going on at a national level? So that's what the goal of this call is. So without further ado, then, the last call we had was in late May, so it makes sense, I think, to begin by talking about our first ever tournament of any kind. Really, this happened on the West Coast this summer in California, and we had 6 teams participate. The Newburgh Quakers, captained by Jones, the Bay Area Golden Bears, which was captained by Tommy on the call here, as well as Roshan Thomas, who's another motherboard member. We had, you guys are gonna have to help me out, the New York Mutuals, which was captained by the Angelus, brothers. Was that Mark Angeles' team? Yeah, he's a nice guy. It was good. It was good to meet him in the summer. The Madera Coyotes, captained by Raul Diaz. The Quakers and Coyotes game was probably my favorite that week. It was a nail biter. It was intense. Who else did we have? We had the Clovis Bandits. Was that the Fresno Haymakers, and then they changed their name to the Clovis Bandits? Got it. So that's 4 teams. So there's 2 other ones we haven't counted. Oh, the Fresno Sundogs.
Yeah.
AJ captained them, and then who else?
I think you got everybody.
Was that? I thought I only counted 5 teams.
I think that was 6. Quakers, Mutuals, Sundogs,
Golden
Haymakers.
Bears,
Golden
Coyotes,
Bears,
Bandits.
Coyotes.
Oh, thank you. Yep. Yeah. So that whole event was like 10 months in the planning. That was a long prep for that event because all of those teams had to be created and recruited for from scratch by the following summer.
And the
With the-
captains did a great job with it. I mean, amazing. Daniel
Yes.
feeling.
Yes. Daniel, do you want to just start talking about the Quakers and speak to that since you were the captain for the Quakers?
Sure. Let me talk. Can I talk with the league first? Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that makes more sense. Go for it.
Oh, where do I start? So you guys know I love Townball. You guys, especially my students, know how passionate about the game I am. So can I just back up even further since Chris is here? I just want to talk about Townball in general. If you don't mind, Chris, let me just tell the story and get everybody caught up. So grew up playing baseball like a lot of people. I grew up in Taiwan actually, and they play baseball in Taiwan. Came back in the summers to play baseball in Minnesota quite a bit. I was going to try out for college baseball, broke my finger right before tryouts. I probably still could have tried out, but it got me thinking about my priorities. And so I decided not to try out. And then I started thinking about the game itself of baseball. And it kind of dawned on me at that point. Don't know why I thought about it at that point, but just how boring the game was as a concept. And I know some people disagree with me on that, but there are a lot of people that agree with it, even though it always was my favorite sport. It kind of realized that the game probably could be a little bit better. I had been exposed to cricket. This was when I was in college, so I was about 19 years old at this time. I had been exposed to cricket in Taiwan, hadn't played it before. But since I wasn't going to be playing baseball, I had time. So in college, I started a cricket club, fell in love with the sports, and actually switched to cricket full time. Cricket became my favorite sport at that point. Fast forward a few years, eventually started a cricket club at University High School, Mason members those days. Had a lot of success with the cricket club. Mason didn't play cricket though. We had a lot of success with the sports. It became really popular at the school. And we did that every spring. In Fresno, the spring is amazingly nice. Doesn't really rain in Fresno at all, hardly, not compared to Oregon. One day, Steve Guile, my supervisor, said, "Hey, your cricket club's really successful. Think you can come up with something for the fall to do as a counterpart?" I said, "Oh, let me think about it." And like 5 minutes later, I walked back into his office. I said, "I got an idea. I'm going to teach an elective called The Origins of the American Pastime." I taught the elective 2 consecutive winters. January is when our winter elective is. And what we do is we have 3 hours a day for a week and a half in which we play just cricket or just Townball, whatever we're doing. And so we researched 10 different bat and ball games, and we end up coming across the original version of Townball, which was the Massachusetts version of baseball. Actually, that's what it was called, Massachusetts baseball. And when we played the game, everybody loved the game so much, and I said, "Hey, I think we can make this game better." And so we projected the game to what we think the game would have become had the Massachusetts style of baseball won over instead of the New York version of baseball. And so for example, I think you saw the field, like it's pushed back a little bit. There's an extra base and that kind of thing. And so my students and I started playing Townball a lot, and we eventually made a whole like intramural league. amongst ourselves. And Tommy was one of the captains at one point. Mason was the captain at one point. And so those students that played Townball at University High School, they're the ones that I looked to when starting this other West Coast Townball league, because they'd all graduated at this point. And so Tommy was the captain of the remind me.
The Grays.
Well, the Grays, but
Sure.
when we graduated, you guys were the Golden Bears.
Oh yeah, well,
California Gold Bears, or
just the Well,
Cal-
we're Bay Area, but we're California.
yeah.
That's what we call ourselves.
Yeah, and so the thing about it is that because I love baseball so much, right? But then wanted to play something that was better. I have the same kick playing Townball as I did playing baseball, except it didn't have all the slow parts to it. And I feel like the game itself of Townball, it just has something about it that can create a really strong following. I think it already has, and I think Tommy Mason would probably agree with that. It's just a game that kind of grips you. It's really addicting as a game. And so I reached out to former students of mine in California this last year to start teams, and they did it. Do you want to tell about your experience, Tommy, with that, starting the team and how that went with the Golden Bears?
Yeah, so I had long graduated. By the time we were talking about the tournament, I was still a motherboard member though, so I was still in the loop of what's happening with the game, the trajectory. But like I said, I was in Oakland. I just graduated from Berkeley, and still new people in the area. And so when Jones said, "Hey, can you get a team assembled?" Me and my friend Roshan, the co-captain, we just got a group of people from California and a few from Fresno. It's like about 3 hours south, and we just formed a team. We played our games in San Francisco as well as Fresno. And I'd say every single member of my team wants to do it again next year. I think the last game I couldn't go to, they all said that they just want to keep doing it. Like they want that core team just to stick around forever. So it's pretty amazing how well that was pulled off in, what was that, a month or two, Jones? Yeah, so
It was longer than that. I mean, we tried to get it started back in like February, but I don't know, whenever you guys started getting the team together.
yeah, I mean, we started recruiting, I'd say maybe March.
Yeah.
I mean, we held a few team practices before the tournament. But yeah, it was amazing how well everything went. Like we really became a team rather than just a group of players. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I've got the Quakers, they want to come down again in June. Like they still talk about it very fondly. So my team was predominantly students of mine, current students of mine, actually. Grant played for me as well, and my son Chuck also. He plays for the Quakers. But that team definitely wants to come back in June. I don't know. What was your experience with the Quakers, Grant? Playing for the team?
Oh man, I had such a good time. I mean, that was after a year of being deprived of very regular town ball, because I had moved from Oregon to Michigan, and obviously there was no town ball in Michigan, and so I had to make it. So it took a while, but there have been regular pickup games of town ball going in my hometown of Hillsdale, Michigan since summer of 2021. They finally hit a bit of a cadence like February or March, although we had about 5 games in between August and November of last year. Not very well attended, but still good. And it was so nice to play on a full team again, and to play really competitively with people who had known the game and had played it for a while. When I only played baseball for a couple of years as a kid, and I never really touched a bat and ball game ever again. And town ball has revived that for me tenfold. when I first encountered, Townball and Jones in 2019, and I tried playing, I was okay, but I've played so many Townball games since, and I've gotten way better, and I love the strategy behind getting the team to do different things to get on the board. And that, like, the tournament in Fresno and the games in the at Golden Gate Park were perfect, like, examples of that, or at least way better examples of that than I had ever seen, because I had never played on a team against teams. I'd only ever played pickup games. So that was a great bit of fun. And it really made the competition much more sweet. And it was great. That's all I have to say. It was so fun. The
Well, I've really
camaraderie for
enjoyed
the
watching.
team.
I appreciate you guys sharing the clips on social media. I think that's a great way to plant the seeds.
Yeah.
As you know, reaching people, across the nation. And I guess the first question all you guys get right off the bat is, "What is this?" And that's the door. That's the door cracked open for everything else to come. So I think once they ask, "What is this?" you have them hooked, because your passion and I can see the fun that you guys are having out there.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. It's nice to hear that from someone who's
From
like,
the outside
from
coming
the-
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because how long have you been following our content?
I run a couple of different Instagrams. I do a lot of baseball history and Twitter with the Skimmers. I've been doing that for a while, and that's mostly baseball photographs or postcards. And then Instagram, I have my kind of baseball, which is also the Dan River Ramblers. But the red art is the part that you guys see as far as the artwork and the things that I do with it. I followed around. I've really tried to hop a little bit on this Sandlot wave that's going on right now, because that's mostly what we're having here in North Carolina are these Sandlot teams, pickup teams, or you guys starting to come across the crest of being organized teams now playing each other. Yes, sir.
Well, that immediately brings me a question. You guys, Tommy and Mason and Grant know me well. I'm the automatic recruiter, but what's the possibility of introducing Townball to some of these landlocked teams in South Carolina? Because the reason I mention that is because I'm pretty sure that if they play Townball once, they'd be like, "Thank you for showing us Townball," because it's what people are looking for when they play baseball. But I think it's like 10 times better. Do you think they'd be interested in learning to play Townball, and would you be interested in teaching them?
I don't have any local teams here. They're coming around Raleigh and Charlotte, so they're slowly making their way up here, and that will probably be the next step for. I'm in Greensboro, which is a little bit north in North Carolina, so it's slowly making its way up there.
So they're
I'm not sure. I don't think I have the interest here, because I've tried to set up different leagues. I played in a adult wooden bat league for 5 or 6 years, very competitive wooden bat league. And I know none of those guys, they're not going to venture out at all. So I'd have to go to more of the mindset of these Sandlot teams. I think it's possible. I don't think I can do it here locally, given the interest that I've gotten in the past trying to do different things and set up different things.
So they're in Southern North Carolina, is that we said?
Yeah, Charlotte, Raleigh,
Okay.
Durham, the age group of people that are trying to be all inclusive in a sport that brings people out to a ballpark. You're right. I think the baseball is maybe even tertiary to them. The sport, maybe if you show them something a little bit more exciting, they would absorb that a little bit more, because they're like you guys. They're looking for the team aspect. They're looking to hang out and have some fun on a night doing something that's competitive but fun competitive.
Okay. And you said it's kind of spreading northward, like the Sandlot movement, so to speak. Where did that start?
Texas is my first experience with it. Texas came out with a lot of Sandlot teams, and like you guys, they were marketing them. They had logos, they had jerseys, and they were pushing it. So they found other Sandlot teams across the country, and they will meet up, pick a month, go to a field. I think you remember the original Bull Durham's field in Durham, North Carolina, the one the movie was filmed at. Yeah. Okay, that field is still being used, not by the Durham Bulls. And so 3 months ago, they had like 6 teams come in there and just play sandlot ball all weekend and then go back to wherever they were. And I think I'm just projecting. I think that's you guys' dreams of this is
It
having
is.
these regional tournaments,
That's
and then
exactly
maybe
right.
some sort of East West Coast tournaments or things like that.
Wouldn't you agree, Tommy? That's what we're trying to do? That sound about right?
Yeah. So I just moved to New Jersey for school. There's a few vintage baseball teams here in the county that
Yeah,
I
we've
live
run
in.
through those here locally as well. Those vintage baseball teams.
Yeah, so that would be our focus. Grant says he knows a few people here as well. So ideally, Jones's vision is to connect both coasts,
Mhm.
to kind of get it nationwide.
Well, outside looking in, I think your timing's perfect.
Good. That's good to hear. So, do you have a website you can point us to for the Sandlot teams? The reason is like, not to sound like a parasite, but sometimes it's easier to like have already established teams try a new sport than it's just try to start all from scratch. Do you guys
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Do you know? Do you know who organizes the Sandlot teams, or do they have a website, or what's it called? Is it just called Sandlot Baseball?
It's called Sandlot Baseball. It started out as Doc Ellis League, and then they've just turned it into Sandlot Baseball. The Doc Ellis League or Sandlot Baseball are the two keywords.
Okay,
I know
Grant.
Texas is very organized, but North Carolina is slowly making it there. I don't follow really a lot of other states because I was trying to find something locally here.
Doc Ellis.
Doc Ellis, yeah.
ELLIS.
ELLIS, yes. Like the pitcher for the Pittsburgh that was on LSD when he pitched a no hitter. That's the league.
Okay. Grant, you want to look into that at some point? What do you think?
Yep. Yeah, I'm already Googling them right now. Yeah, it's funny you say Texas, Chris, because and maybe this is just because I haven't done enough research, but I'm not familiar with a whole lot of vintage baseball coming out of Texas.
This isn't vintage baseball.
Not vintage baseball, just pickup league, Saturday beer league. They're designing their shirts. They got logos. They got teams. They're making float flyers, posters. I mean, it's
I watch a lot of like baseball content on Instagram, and yeah, a lot of pages have been featuring clips and highlights from those leagues.
The same leagues that he's talking about?
Yeah, it seems to be mostly southern states.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
All
right.
My concern with that, if I tried to do that locally here, as far as the Sandlot is, I don't have access to fields like that. As you guys know, that anybody that's played baseball, like access to the fields is the biggest barrier for any sport. I don't think you guys go by. You don't have to have a baseball field, right? You don't have to have a manicured, right? So that takes that barrier completely out of your situation, which is beneficial.
It's great.
Yeah, we use soccer fields or football fields ideally because the shape is better.
You just need flat square, right?
Yeah.
Flat rectangle, flat square.
Yeah.
But I know in my adult league, we were paying all this money to play, and 90% of that money went to fields. We didn't make anything; it was all field dues.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a big
and then
slice of the pie.
We luckily had 2 players who were the varsity coaches at a high school, so we had access to their field. So that kind of cut the cost down, things like that. But that's that doesn't happen every day.
Well, see, yeah, I don't know if you want to know this information, but obviously all of our personalities are very different. Like I'm like an ideas guy, so I kind of initiated this whole thing, but I'm not really the networking guy. So Grant would be the person to go reach out to these people, and he's not really a baseball player, right? So he doesn't know these things. He's trying to get to know. Like he did a great job of getting to know the.
When you say that's to his advantage, though, it's not a disadvantage. That's an advantage, actually.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. So he wouldn't know like there's Sandlot Baseball. He wouldn't even know something like that.
Yeah, I'm hearing this for the first time today. Although I actually have seen some of those pages on Instagram, but I didn't really think twice about it.
Right.
I've seen it grow. I've seen it. I'm kind of in those circles, and I've seen it really develop, which is never a bad thing to get people out.
How many years has it been growing? Like a couple, like 3?
I would say the past 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
Oh wow,
it's really recent.
So it's a lot like what we're doing then.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to do.
And then you give the 20 years back of vintage baseball, right? That came before this.
Yeah.
But as you know, as you boil these niches down, people get very nichey and doesn't like to vary at all. So I think you guys being anyone interested, you guys are open to teach and have at it, right? I mean, these teams are using different strategies, and I think when you guys have these tournaments, you're seeing other teams develop these strategies to take home to your team. They're like, hey, I never thought about doing that. I've never seen anybody do a play that particularly. So, and Daniel, just to say you too, I'm aware of the different histories of baseball and the games that develop. So when you speak of those things, I know what you're saying, that a lot of that tree went out and the branch just ended right there because the generation didn't carry it on, or another version of baseball took the lineage on. So I know that there was a lot of close connection to cricket.
Awesome.
That a lot of baseball historians deny, as you've learned as well. So that was my soapbox. Thank you, guys.
No, that's great. I appreciate your knowledge in this. Most of the people I work with are young people like these guys. So, I mean, Tommy knows a lot about baseball because he's he used to be is baseball holic. He loved the stats and all the history of things, etc. But I'm a different generation where we knew a lot about baseball back in the day too. So there's not a lot of depth, is what I'm saying, of knowledge of history here in my team of people I'm working with, just because most people I work with are really young. So I appreciate your input.
And maybe don't care or need to care. So to play the game on a Saturday night or something.
That's right. If you do know the history, when you do know the history, though, it makes playing so much more rewarding. Adds a lot to it, even though the game's fun by itself. So go ahead.
One thing that I think added to the team identity of any one of our teams in the tournament was the fact that we all had jerseys. The Quakers had jerseys, Bay Area Golden Bears, they had their own.
That's it. Just two teams.
Yeah, just those two. And then I have a team that I'm forming for this next spring in my hometown in Hillsdale, Michigan. And this is the jersey we have for that. So this is like a baby blue color, almost like the old Brooklyn Dodgers. It's got
the quarter cut sleeves. Love it.
Yep, quarter cut sleeves. It's cursive here. And then all of our jerseys have our sport logo embroidered on there. That was designed by a friend of mine from college. His name is Rylan. Funny story about Rylan. Rylan played a softball game back home in Washington State this summer, and he actually forgot he had to run after he hit the ball. And he looked like an idiot because no one knew why he thought that. And he's like, oops. He was in Townball mode playing softball. And no one,
and he could have sit and explained it for an hour, and they still wouldn't have understood why he didn't run.
Yeah, because in Townball,
never mind, I didn't run. Never mind.
If it's not the third strike, you don't have to run on a hit. So it gives you way more options. But yeah, this is an example of the jerseys, the look we're going for. It is a nice vintage look.
What is your material of the jersey?
It's a cotton linen blend.
Awesome. Looks vintage, but comfortable to wear.
Yeah, I can attest to that right now. These Sandlot teams, Chris, what type of aesthetic do they go for? Do they wear jerseys? What do they do?
Oh yeah, full on symbols, jerseys, merchandise.
What kind of ball do they use?
I'm not sure. It's straight baseball. It's just pick up Sandlot baseball. Pick a field Saturday at 4. Bring your glove.
Okay, that sounds fun.
But a lot of these teams, that's how it started, right? And then now there's a lot of teams that are saying, hey, we have 15 guys here in Austin, Texas that wants to play 15 people in Dallas, Texas. And then they'll drive up and play each other on a Saturday. They're building it up a little bit more like beer league, which, it's a fine line between, competitive baseball or beer league softball. It's a fine line to go between there. I think the openness of it attracted a lot of people. And the no skills required attracts a lot of people, which I know you guys are going through that as well.
No steals required? Oh,
Yeah,
no
you don't have to be a
skills,
baseball
skills.
player. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're not out there fundamentally catching ground balls. You know, you're just having a good time on a Saturday night.
Right.
This is one of our balls.
And that's the lemon peel.
Yep, it's the good old.
Who's making your balls?
I am right now, actually.
Awesome. Awesome.
Mhm. But we're
Is
working
he-
with a company in
Is
China.
original Townball a lemon peel ball?
Yeah, yes.
Just because of the timing of it when it
Yeah.
happened? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, the ball we're making, we kind of have some liberty with what we're doing here because even though everything we're doing when it comes to the rules of the game and the aesthetic and the materials has some type of a precedent, how those different precedents get molded together is our own decision. So Townball is 80% the 1858 Dedham, Massachusetts game. It's 15% like a mix of cricket, stool ball, rounders, and then it's 5% original ideas like the use of the golden ratio to have to make our infield and things like
Gotcha.
that. So it's new enough that it's not familiar at all to anyone who steps out on plays, but it's not so novel that it doesn't lose that kind of backyard spirit to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, so the West Coast Town Ball tournament went great. It continued on after the Quakers went back up north, which was awesome. It was great to see the rest of the teams in that region continue playing competitively with each other. After the fact.
One team more than likely is now dead. The Haymakers / Bandits. I don't know if we can resurrect that team. Just the last time they showed up, they only had 2 people, for example. But assuming that they're out, so among the 5 teams, there's only 2 games left, Grant, that need to be played.
Okay.
And they're both mutual games, I think.
Okay.
So Tommy's team's finished all his games. We finished all our games.
Cool. Very good. Yeah, so that was I mean, Chuck, Tommy, you guys can speak more to the tournament if you had other things you wanted to say. But I think it was a total success.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna quickly say, one thing I did notice with just the general, what your average player looked like, because most of the people in the tournament were rather new to the game. I found out that most people actually came from a different sport, like for example, basketball or football. And it seemed like they tended to like this game because like we were saying earlier, you don't necessarily need a skill. Maybe they expressed interest in baseball previously, but they just couldn't get into it. But now that they feel like they can get into a bat and ball game and they can be relatively successful in it, they're more inclined to want to play it. So they tend to be our strongest supporters from what I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen that over the years. It's the way I say it. It seems like everybody's second favorite sport is town ball, which is really cool, right? We have a lot of we have cricket players, we have water polo players, we have golf players, we have basketball, we have soccer players. All of them, their second favorite sport is town ball. Would you agree, Tommy?
1000%.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the culture of it. Yeah.
That's true at
Definitely.
Hillsdale as well.
That's what about Tommy. Just talk about him real quick. What I picked up on when I first met him, he was a freshman at University High School when I met him, and I drafted him and Ranjit for my team. And on paper, right, everyone said we're going to lose. Remember that? Everyone said you have the worst team, you're going to lose, and we went undefeated that year.
Yeah. Mason
Tom-
remembers.
Tommy, he's just so passionate about the game. You listen to him talk. He has a quote that he's kind of like a soft-spoken person, but his heart is just like, I love town ball. I want to play town ball. So I love that about Tommy. Just want to point that out. I think a lot of people feel that way about town ball. There's two things I want to make sure we talk about before this call is over, though, Grant, is they're both future events. And I talked to the Quakers, and it sounds like they really want to go back to Fresno in June. So I want to talk about that just to see if we have a clear plan, at least amongst us, as far as what we're going to do in June. The second is we had talked about coming to Michigan to play, and I think it's a fantastic idea, although some of my players aren't as keen on that because that's so far away. So if we can jump to that right now, I'm wondering if we should take a different approach where, because Grant said he has a team, right? The Hillsdale people. So Grant's been doing a good job of playing a lot of pickup games and getting people excited about Townball. And the thought of starting a team thrills a lot of people there, but they don't really have anybody to play because nobody else plays Townball. So like, okay, we've got a team, who are we going to play? And whereas, we have people who have played Townball from right now, they're kind of all over the nation. Grant, I'm wondering if we should form a team and somehow call ourselves a team. We'll call ourselves a California team or something. And like Tommy and myself, and maybe Mason, if he's up for it, Chuck, some of the players that are in maybe your area that learn about Townball in California come together as a team and go to Michigan to play, as opposed to me bringing all the Quakers over, because I don't think they all want to play. Tommy, what do you think about that? Just forming a team from like former UHS people from all over the place coming together in Michigan this summer to play as a team.
Yeah, I was thinking about that recently though. Yeah, that would actually work because I feel like when everyone is an established Townball player, they can teach the game to others more efficiently. Like maybe if you're on second base, you can talk to the second baseman. Or yeah, it would be a lot smoother, and spectators would get a better sense of what the game actually does look like.
What
And
I
I
mean
think
is-
it'd be easier too because we're all passionate. So
What I mean is, would you rather bring a New Jersey team, a new team, or would you rather just play on a team that we all come together and play on? Michigan.
I think it'd be easier to just have an established
California team, right?
Yeah.
Mason, what do you think? Would you play on a team like that?
Yeah, I would play on a California team. Or I guess I can be on either side now. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
But
That's true. He
Wait,
could play for
are you in
Grant's team,
Texas?
actually.
You're in Texas, right?
I'm in Indiana. So I'm actually
Oh.
only like me and Grant are like an hour and 15 minutes away from each other, I think.
Yeah. If we want, we can drive 45 minutes and meet each other in the middle and go to B-dubs.
Yeah.
I mean, the other option is if Mason brought a whole team up from players in Cincinnati might want to play, right?
I don't know. So that's a longer drive too. It would be, I don't know, like 4.5 hours. So my sister and her husband are part of like a softball league with some friends. And I had mentioned it to them like at 4th of July when we were all there. And I was trying to explain Townball to them. It's much easier to just start playing the game than to explain it.
Yep.
But they might be interested eventually. I'd have to talk to them. I know I'm seeing my sister in November, early November. So I'll mention it again and see if they want to play. But I don't know. We're starting to make some more friends here, like locally. We're also like trying to move people out here from California who might be interested. But we'll see. But yeah, to answer your question, I would love to play on whatever team needs me.
Yeah. Don't want to steal your players, Grant. That's not my intent.
Mason is he's kind of in no man's land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
He's-
just trying to think because I originally wanted to bring a whole Quakers team from Oregon, but
That's a lot of high
Tristan
schoolers.
said no, he can't do that. And
Yeah. That's too
Um,
much cash for these kids.
well, that and taking time off work and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to talk about that.
we will.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
here's
how
the thing.
close is Chicago to where you are?
Chicago is 3 hours from Hillsdale. And it's
Okay.
about, Mason, would you say it's about the same distance from Fort Wayne?
Yeah, it's like exactly like 3 hours.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Never mind.
yeah. No, Detroit is closer to me for sure. Detroit's about an hour and a half. Fort Wayne's an hour 15. I'm actually in Indianapolis right now. as I speak, which has a minor league baseball team, but no professional baseball team, probably because they are hemmed in on all sides by professional teams. You got the Cubs and the White Sox in Chicago. You've got the Cleveland, whatever they are now, the Guardians, the Cincinnati Reds, and yeah, so I guess that's why Indiana never needed a major league team, because there's just so many around them. But every time I come down here, I keep thinking there's a ripe market for something like Townball. So
That's what Chris is saying. He thinks the timing is really good for what we're doing. Sounds like a lot of people want to play baseball the way it used to be, right? They look at Major League Baseball and all the problems they're having with attendance, etc. You know, they even had a conversation about whether or not they should introduce stealing first in baseball, and that's what the Savannah Bananas do, right? They steal,
yeah,
as you know, Chris, right? They steal first in their version because it just makes the game more exciting if the batter can run. So I think we have a product that people want. It's just I don't know how to get the word out and how to organize this whole thing. This is what we're
I
trying to do.
think I think one thing that would be fun was like when you play games, try to find like baseball fields to play next to while there's games going on.
Hmm.
And people will just like come over and be like, what are you guys doing?
just passively poach.
Yeah, just yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that
yeah.
I think it's a good idea, but one thing keeps coming back to my mind is it looks way different when there's a pickup game going on versus when there's two teams with jerseys playing. It's just a big difference, and people can be like, well, this is something I can get behind if it's organized to that level. Which is why I'm selling the jerseys and trying to get teams to actually get together and play, which is what we want to do this summer again.
The game is very it's very hard to make it portable. Just in the sense, I mean, it's not like spike ball where all you got to do is whip out a net and just start playing. At the same time, though, it's way more easy to set it up and play than baseball because you don't need a diamond. So Jones, we talk about this almost every time we have a phone call. The hardest part is getting someone to play their first game. But after their first game, the chances of them returning are way higher. Because it's playing it that, you know, seeing is believing kind of when it comes to this. And we do the best in our different areas, but what's nice is there's more of us kind of spread out as time goes by, and so we can kind of arrange ourselves and make our efforts a little more targeted. So
yeah, we are positioned pretty well, getting better positioning at this point with different states and such.
Yeah, and if you have a zone, and a ball, you can get everything else at a hardware store.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. So
Chris, do you want to show some of your art?
yeah.
I will. I'll just do just in a background experience. During the winter, I play in a curling league.
A what?
Now, nobody in North Carolina has ever curled in their life. So, you know, when Christmas starts and they set up the little ice rinks where people come out with their family, you know, it's in a parking lot. I guess you'll have real ice rinks where you're from. We have, you know, these man-made ice rinks with the machine cooling the ice down. Well, a couple of people got together and was like, posted on Facebook, hey, we're going to have a little demo on curling. Come out like 8:30 at night because we have to be there when they close, right? Because we can't be there. So some guys showed us a little bit. They took, just like you guys, they went to the hardware shop. They made 2 mixing bowls, put them together, poured cement in it, put a handle on it. That's our curling stones. Curling stones are thousands of dollars. These are mixing bowls. Home Depot brooms have that. And we're like in our 8th or 9th year right now. We have 16 teams.
60?
So 16 teams. We have to have 2 nights now a week of curling.
That's cool.
This is going outside in 30-degree weather in the middle of December and standing on the cheap ice and throwing this mixing bowl down the ice. And we're having to turn people away. The catching fire of all of this is going to happen so fast. You know, right now it's a slow growth. but as soon as it kicks off, like, you're going to have to turn people away. You're going to have to slow this down a little bit. And we've had to do that in this curling league. So I've seen these things happen. Like, how do you get people to go out, stand in the middle of the night and freeze an ice? You make it cool, and then it spreads out. What you guys are doing, which is casting a big net and catching, these one or two super passionate people across the nation, is what's going to set this thing on fire
Grant,
and
you
take
hearing
it to
us?
the next level. But I've seen that happen. I've been captain on the team for, I think, 8 years. We're one of the original teams in this curling league. But none of us know anything about curling. So we see it on the Olympics, but it's nowhere that it's in the middle of the night. It's beer league. It's sliding these balls down this sheet of ice that people have been skating on. It's horrible, but we started getting really good at it. It's very competitive. Teams have their logos. They have sponsors for local bars around town, so that that has that aspect as well.
That's
so
awesome.
I wanted to add that to you guys. Like, I know it's a slow grind, but the change going to be super fast, and before
Thank
you
you.
know it, it's going to be, hold on, guys, we got to stop and slow this down a little bit because we want to do it right.
That's very encouraging. Thank you.
All right, so Thomas, Mason, Chuck, I have been in conversations with Daniel and Grant for months about some artwork. I wanted to help support you guys. Like, I'm like everybody else. I'm riding your passion in this situation, and I'm very humbled to be a part of it and at least get to see it develop in front of me. So us being, Grant, do you have any access to the artwork, or can I share my screen? I will show one. I don't think I'm able to share my screen.
Yeah.
I do have a share screen.
Let me, let's see. You should
I'll
be
tell
able
you.
to share. If you can't, let
It
me know.
says host disabled participant screen share.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, Grant, did you hear what Chris said?
Try now. I just changed the
Yes, sir.
setting.
Chris, that was very encouraging. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate that.
I am a fan. All right, so this is the concept. I think Daniel, Grant, and myself are trying to pack a lot of information in an image. And if you can pull that off, it's awesome. Just like the logo that you guys are using. It's simple, it's to the point, it explains it. I don't have questions. That's an awesome symbol, your logo that you're putting on your jersey. So this was to get a little bit more of, I don't know, then you think just questions asked or to show the game, to create a conversation. There's a lot of conversation, right? You could talk an hour on what's going on in this photo. Or this
Yeah, well, my intent for this particular artwork that Chris is doing is give a vision for what I want it to look like when it's in bloom, right? We got the fans, we got the jerseys, we got the sport. It looks vintage, right? But it's modern. Like, I want to give people a vision because it doesn't exist yet. So we have to draw it first. Hey, this is what we want to do. Can you guys help us get there? Kind of thing.
A lot of visual learners, which helps a lot as well too. A little history about myself. I am not a full-time artist, but I have been doing art, baseball art, for years now. As a player and an artist, I've really got an understanding of baseball. And then through all of my vintage stuff and history going back, I think me and you fellas share that love for the vintage aspect of baseball, being something a little more innocent than the corporate baseball that we're watching today. And in this photo, I'm trying to, in this painting, I'm trying to do a little bit more of showing the vintage aspect, that it looks something familiar to you. Like, oh, they're playing, wait a second, there's some things here that I'm not familiar with. And then go to there. So thank you very much, Grant and Daniel, for you guys helping me place this. As someone who's never played the game, I'm not really sure how to place that runner coming off the, what is it, a fourth stake?
Fourth stake, yeah. Tommy knows.
Okay.
He recognizes it.
So, and so, Thomas, you can see them telling me here too, like he's going behind the catcher, right? He's not coming home to the catcher. He's going to I guess another stake behind that. And then the coach And really, Daniel, I'm trying to put you in that situation. That's you there on the bench, pointing, guiding. You look a lot like John McGraw, but hey, that was a little homage to you guys being a leader and a steward to the game going forward. So there you are offering your advice.
I so
And then
appreciate
the
that.
batter and catcher just look badass. And
Yeah,
I
and-
don't feel I got the net very well, but it creates the conversation.
Well, one detail here that you're not going to notice, right, is that Chris, when he first drew it, he put a chest pad on the catcher's chest, right? But you guys know when we play town ball, we have a mask and that's it. So I said, hey, Chris, take the chest protector off. And because when someone sees this, they're gonna be like, wait, where's his protection? Because they always have protection back there. It is different. It's a different game. And you don't need it for town ball because you got the zone, protecting you. So.
And I think it shows too that the field is completely open. Like there's no foul lines, there's nothing boxing that field in. The score very unique as far as the score there and the scoreboard coming across.
Yeah. You and Tom, you recognize the scoreboard? We made that last summer, remember? Yep.
And I appreciate you guys letting me do this. All right, so I have this in a color aspect and I have this in a black and white aspect, as if you ever want to print this or put this on something or use it as prints. You guys use this however you decide to use it. And if there's something that you want to tweak with or do with it, and we can work together in the future to keep this going. I think content and really being visual with a lot of this as far as social media is how you're going to spread the word when you're not on the field. That's how you spend your time when you're not playing down.
Right.
So I appreciate you guys for the opportunity. This has been very exciting for me to learn, and as I said, just to get close to you guys' passion. That fuels all of us.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. What did I get wrong, Tommy? What did I get wrong?
Oh no, I was just gonna say this is awesome. The only thing I would say is actually no, because
go ahead.
Usually if you're a fourth base runner, you have a larger lead. But it looks like he just got off the base, so it's still accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so far we're not that professional. We're pretty rowdy in the dugout.
They're a little subdued for the dugout.
Yeah. But other than that, I really like the batter and the catcher. That looks amazing.
Tommy, you ready to play in front of fans like that?
I would love to.
Right.
I mean, one thing they don't have is they don't have the shift for me. This picture would look different if I was batting.
You're a Deadpool hitter.
He's hard pull. Like he'll hit the ball foul in baseball, and he's a town ball player. He'll hit the ball where the scoreboard is.
I did that I played in high school baseball, and a lot of my teammates thought I was like stupid or something because I would just hit it hard foul. I'm like, oh well, that's what I'm used to.
Sometimes it's foul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a great picture. I really like it.
I'm a ground ball to the shortstop type of hitter, so there you go.
That's the worst in the ground ball to shortstop. Oh man.
Nobody cheers when you come up to bat. So.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I was on a really good team. I was the worst player on the best team. And I mean, they were pros on my team. I was, minor league guys. Dude, you can't throw that hard. Like I physically can't throw the way these guys throw. It's a whole. So it's nice to be close to that as well.
What I like about this picture is that particular scene I've seen so many times, even from that angle. So it's so familiar. And anyone that's not played town ball, it's gonna look a little strange, but for us, like, yeah, we've been there. Except for the fans. We want the fans. That'll be a lot of fun. Hey,
and I left some things without detail because I want your mind to fill those details in. I want you to figure out where this is at and who's playing and what these teams are and what's going to happen next. I'm like you, dude. I love the suspense of that picture of what's going to happen next. This is the moment we live for, right? This is the pressure zone. Here comes the pitch.
Chris, you're a keeper. Thanks for sharing all that.
No,
That's so
you,
great.
you guys found me. You saw my passion online as well with
Yeah.
my drawings. This isn't my normal style, guys. This is a little bit out of my comfort zone, which I loved. But Daniel and Grant really gave me the freedom to just like you guys, just go out and do something that is fun, but uncomfortable in the same sense of not being familiar with it. So I appreciate that. A lot of times I do watercolor stuff. I do watercolor and splashes and things like that.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yep, absolutely.
Grant, is there anything else we need to talk about today?
For posterity, I thought I'd just do a brief recap of what's gone on in Hillsdale since the summer. So like I said, when I moved back to Michigan from graduating college, but my family moved here in 2019. I missed Townball, so I wanted to do my own games. So at Hillsdale College, which is a college in my town, it's a town of 8,000 people, but the college is nationally recognized. It's a very competitive school. I kind of had an unofficial Townball club going on last year, but we got official club status at the very end of the school year this last year. I can't be a student officer on paper because I'm not a student, obviously, but functionally, I basically am one because I have all the equipment and I know the sport as well. A lot of students got interested in it come springtime. The two club officers who are the most active right now were people who started playing in February and March of this year. I haven't even known them for a year yet. But Stephen Pearson and Dylan Liebrick have really come to love the game. They're actually both from the Oregon area, which is funny. So we had that to go off of. But this school year, now we had finally been granted club status and we could do a lot more games. So we did our first ever pickup game on the central quad of the campus. And if you've seen their quad, it's big enough that you could do a full-size game on there, 110 feet by 110 feet infield. And by this point, the Hillsdale Daily News had already done 3 separate little blurbs about Townball pickup games I had done in the summer that were open to the public. But then they actually came out and covered that opening game at the quad a little bit and filmed some of it. And I was wondering if I could just briefly play the video while we did that. It's short, but
Have you guys seen it?
it was great to be there.
Mason has not. Have you seen it, Chris? Okay, yeah, let's watch it for sure. Also, Chuck, did you want to say anything also before this meeting ends? I want to make sure you had a chance.
I don't have anything pressing. I might have some stuff I want to mention, but it's really not that important.
You want to mention them after this video?
Yeah.
All right, hit
Yes.
it, Grant.
Alrighty. So let me share my screen here. And this video is the property of Hillsdale Daily News. I mean, that's just me being formal about that. I mean, obviously anyone can go on YouTube and watch this, but all right, here we go. Let me know if you can hear my screen volume. Yes, no? Okay,
Not yet.
so I've done this before. Share sound.
There we go.
In all, at the most, we had probably 14 players to a side.
Aaron Judge hit 61st tonight? No. You don't think so?
That's my brother, and he just got zoned. My brother's a student at the college, and he's busy with his own clubs. That guy in the jersey, he's the club president of Townball, Stephen Pearson. That guy who just hit the bat, he's going to be on my city team next year. His name is Ezra Hutchinson. He's a great
Nice.
player. That's his brother Silas.
You got some great clips of this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they did a good job, this video.
That was the most people I had ever seen in a pickup game ever. Notice how we were trying to avoid like lampposts and other things. It was fun to set it up.
It's very Sandlot in his feel.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck, what'd you want to say?
I wanted to mention that going forward, I'm going to try to head the spread of Townball to East Asia, primarily Japan. So that's something to look out for the next couple of years. That doesn't really affect, obviously, the American sector, but I mean, they could interact, certainly. But I just wanted to mention that that could be coming up.
Jerry in Taiwan would be happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
He's-
because you're
he's
going
looking to start
school out
stuff in
Japan?
Taiwan. Yeah. What?
Chuck, that's because you're planning on going to school out in Japan.
Possibly, yeah.
Well,
And
we'll surely appreciate any Townball efforts you have out there.
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to mention that and sort of reiterate to people who've already heard this, but I'm interested in getting some sort of Townball sports writing, like some more dedicated sports writing than what we've got. Just because that's a good way for interest in the sport to get around. Obviously, we have some sort of sports writing, but it's not independent. It's really just ourselves writing about our own games, which is nice and all, but sports writing, I think, should be coming from the outside, I think. So,
Yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, we had 3 short articles done by the Hillsdale Daily News, and we've had one from the Newburgh Graphic a while back. The Turlock Journal wrote about us when we did a pickup game in the middle of our tournament this summer. And sneak peek, in April when my city team is ready to go, there was a reporter for just a local cable news station out of Lansing who wants to do a feature piece on Townball and on the team.
nice.
So that's coming up in April. That's like TV.
Okay, we'll have to
Epic.
prepare for that, and hopefully we'll have a clear direction on what to do for our team coming to Michigan and have you guys something to play against. Because if you guys can draw a team like us that actually plays Townball, I think that would cause people to be a little more interested in watching that game. Like, what does it look like for real Townball players to come and play this new game that's just starting in this area? That's how I imagine it anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And we can write it that way. Like the initial Townball people from California are coming to take on the Hillsdale people or whatever we wanted. That'd be kind of fun, right, Tony? Make ourselves look like the big bad guy.
David Goliath.
David
type.
Goliath story, yeah. Just write it up as a David Goliath story and then just see what.
We'll gladly take the role of the protagonist.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good story. It'd be fun.
I brought my glove with me, Jones.
Nice.
I am getting dinner with the Hoosier Vintage Gloves guy on Thursday night,
Are you serious? Okay, good.
and I'm bringing my glove.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you familiar with him, Chris? That's an Instagram page. He does refurbs on vintage gloves.
Yep.
He's right here in Fishers. I'm literally like 20 minutes from him right now.
Awesome work. He does awesome work. I used to have Brad Lohman's dad. He used to do, but he's retired now. But I had some vintage gloves that he would relace because I would collect vintage equipment, but to use. I never collect anything that I couldn't use. So all the gloves I had, I needed them to be functional, not on the shelf. So I would have to get them relaced and things like that.
Chris, yeah, that's our philosophy too. It's like we love vintage gloves, but let's use them in Townball.
Oh no, those 1940 Nakona gloves, I can play all day in those things. Those are awesome.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, this is a 1940 Wilson. So Yeah.
Well, let's not hold everybody up. Grant, I don't want to take everybody's afternoon completely. Is there anything else anybody else want to talk about? Mason, anything else you want to add?
Just that I don't know. I think there could be some interest in Fort Wayne. Maybe that's something me and Grant talk about. Not necessarily like people I know. I might know like one person who might be interested, but like, I mean, we're a pretty sportsy town. Like we have hockey, basketball, and baseball, like all like minor league, but they're all pretty big around town. Like
Fort
they're
Wayne has a lot of people in it, but it's not near anything. Yeah, it's got like 250,000 people.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have a city half that size, like an hour and a half in any direction. So it's kind of an anomaly in that way. I know a Hillsdale alum who moved to Fort Wayne and she really liked playing Townball, Mason.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning her.
Yeah, she would be totally down to play more Townball if it was in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, so maybe that's something like we talk about and kind of like how you grew it in Hillsdale.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it'd
Yeah,
be
if you guys
fun.
can
Two
get
rival teams
two rival teams, yeah.
Yeah.
playing Angola or something.
Well, Mason, if you can bring a team up next to Michigan next August, and if we're there in August, that's already 3 teams. If we can do a tournament of 3 teams, and then whoever else wants to play. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be on either of our teams. You can be on your own team.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
There's not really much coming up this winter. That's like the only time of year where we have a break. So I don't know if there's anything really to report about that.
That's fine. Tommy, anything else you want to add before we close down?
This will be more down the road. I'll obviously talk to you, Grant, and hopefully Chuck. I'll be wanting to visit the Hall of Fame in New York. I might have sent I sent a picture in the group chat
Yeah,
back in July
yeah, I
where
remember that.
yeah, I was at the All-Star game in Los Angeles and they had the exhibit. They had the lemon ball.
Yeah.
And I spoke to the people there and they said I talked about Townball. They're like, yeah, we would be interested in some sort of vintage little baseball. If you guys like have a club going, we can definitely write a story about you guys. We have monthly newsletters that we send out
Ooh.
to thousands of people. So when the time comes for that, I'll get something ready. Hopefully Chuck will help me out with that because I'm not someone to trust with writing.
Maybe scientific papers.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Grant's a terrific writer. I don't know if you know that, but he's a fantastic writer. Chuck's not dissing what we've already done. He just wants to do it more. Is what he's saying.
okay. Okay,
I mean,
yeah. Well,
the last article written by the Hillsdale Daily Roost, Grant wrote that and just gave it to them and had them put it
okay.
in.
Well, yeah, I'll definitely run it by the motherboard then when time comes.
Yeah, I think that's great. So yeah, Grant's the person that talked about networking. He's just so good. So he can talk to them and he'll get on the news really fast. My job, Grant, is to make sure you guys are fully, garbed for the events because I don't want it to look like a pickup game. I want this to look like a real game. That's
Yeah.
my whole thing is if we're gonna be on TV, let's all have jerseys on it. Because
I
people are more
wholeheartedly
attracted to it.
agree. That's why, I mean, there are some strings I could pull and some people I could DM now, but it's just not the right time.
Yeah, we have to wait till we have teams with jerseys. But this Michigan tournament that we're gonna do, hopefully, I think that could be a place where we can get teams with jerseys on.
Yeah.
Mason, if you have a team, just let me know. I'll get you guys jerseys.
Okay.
Just give me time to make them. It'll take a little while to make.
Take
All
me
right.
time to find a team.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got a year, Mason.
Yeah.
Less than a year now. Okay, let's close it down, Grant. All right.
Yep. Thank you all for coming on board, especially Chris.
Yeah, Chris, thank you for your
Okay.
encouragement. It's really
Yeah.
good stuff.
Chris.
Mhm.
That was
You're very welcome. Glad to be a part of this and hope to see you guys grow. You now have another contact if you guys want to bounce anything off of me. As I said,
And we do have product on an online store that's been live for probably 2 months now. So FYI, if anybody didn't know that. Okay.
All right. All right.
Thank you guys.
so-
Best of luck. Have a great read.
You
All
too.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Chris.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.